Hello everybody, my name is Lucky Luxray, and today I'm bringing you weeks 5, 6, and 7 of the NCPL Season 10 of the Pokemon Draft League, Robin's Rules. This week I'm going up against my old friend Flo. I've known him for a long time. He's really good at Pokemon. He doesn't really do much other than draft, but he pays attention and he's playing the games all the time. He's just really good. He's a very skilled player, and I'm always afraid to battle him because of how good he is. He's very highly ranked. So going to this matchup, there was actually some controversy whenever it comes to the trade because he missed it by a deadline because of some internet issues. And I talked it over with the admins, or just kind of threw it out there saying, hey, he can have his Alolan Muck back because he traded it. And he wanted it back, and we already discussed that he was going to take it back beforehand. So I was like, yeah, no, that's fine, because we already discussed it and I knew he was gonna, that was his plan. So I figured it would be wrong if I denied him of his trade back to Alolan Muck because he didn't need it for the Norman matchup. So he was able to get Alolan Muck back, and we were gonna go from there. Without Alolan Muck, Megazam just kind of ran through his team without any checks. So it kind of sucked for me in that aspect, but I felt it was fair because that we already discussed that was going to happen. As of right now, I am 4-0. I think I just need one more battle to secure playoffs with the way the division is adding up. So if I win this match, I think I'm locked in the playoffs. I don't guarantee my spot at the top, but I am the only undefeated player so far through 4 weeks. So let's hope I can just keep that going. Whenever it comes to team composition, me and Robin were talking it over, and we thought that Slitherwing was really good in this matchup. First impression, Wild Charge for the Celesteela, same with Flare Blitz. U-turn or close combat is really good. Raging Bolt's cool and gets, better if Muck is out of the way. Offensive, probably, to get more damage out there. Sun is good, especially with the Slitherwing and the Raging Bolt. We didn't like Mandibuzz in this matchup because of the Mamoswine, the Azu, the Palmont, the Celesteela, but it could be really good against his Latios, but I figured it wouldn't be that good. Klefki is my Latios and Mamoswine switch-in. It wasn't, you'll see what happened in the game, but Klefki's Spike is really good to huge to weaken Muck if I get one off, and Flo doesn't want to really bring Serena against me because I have Sun, and Sun's really good against Serena. Swampert is good for the glue, but I didn't really think it was that good because I felt that more offensive pressure would be good against Flo, and that Scarf Latios outspeeds +2 Victory Bell by 1 point, so it's kind of useless to bring if that's the goal. So we thought it over, and I figured that the team composition of Alakazam, Raging Bolt, Torkoal, Slitherwing, Klefki, and Tauros was the bring. Their sets are Miracle Eye, Megazam. Kudos to Robin for thinking that's a cool tech, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm all for it. Miracle Eye, Megazam to click it on the incoming Muck because he's going to switch in Muck onto Alakazam 100% of the time. So I click Miracle Eye as soon as Zam hits the field, and I click Psychic Move after that with no fear. After that, it is just fast, bulky Bolt, so it's max HP with a little bit of speed to outspeed some of his threats, and the rest in special attack. There is a physically defensive Torkoal with Rocks, Fire Move, Yawn, and Rapid Spin. There's Banded Slitherwing, Air Balloon, Klefki to get his Mamoswine into check, and then Life Orb, Sheer Force Tauros. So, let's get into the battle. After I see his team, I'm like, I'm going to lead Slitherwing, and I have first impression. And I think Flo knows that I have first impression, so I'm not going to click it even though it's banded. I'm going to U-turn right out of the way. I anticipated the switch into Celesteela, so I could have Flare Blitz or Wild Charge into this, but I figured getting a U-turn off is a lot better in case he wanted to do some substitute shenanigans, and I just straight up U-turn. Does 12%, that's a good chunk. I'm like, okay, this is a free Torkoal, I can go Torkoal. I get up Rocks here, is he Earthquakes, that does a lot of chip damage. Actually, I yawn, because I'm a dummy. I yawned, why would I yawn? I should have got Rocks up right away, or at least just chipped it with the Fire Move, but later on we see that he has Aqua Berry. And then I go into Klefki in like I said, Flo's really good at Pokemon. So he clicks Mystical Fire immediately, sensing that Klefki is the switch in every time. So good on Flo for that play. Worked out for him automatically. And I'm like, okay, well, now I go into Slitherwing, and I didn't reveal the first impression. So I think that he thinks I don't have it. And I click first impression, get rid of the Latios. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And it was, I feel like the first turn was a good bait for him to think that I didn't have first impression. So Celesteela comes out. I'm like, well, I have to switch out. I go right back into Torkoal because there's no other play for me to go into. I could have went into Raging Bolt, but there wasn't really needed. He predicts that, and Torkoal goes down. So I'm like, okay, great. And now he's Beast Boost attack, which sucks. So I'm like, well, I have to go back into Slitherwing, click Fire move. And because I'm banded and in the sun, it goes through Akaberry to KO the Celesteela, which is insane how strong Slitherwing can be if given the right circumstances. So it goes right through. I take the recoil. Now he goes into Pawmot, and I'm kind of afraid because I don't want this to take more chip damage. But he takes Fire Punch because I didn't know if he had Fire Punch, and I was hoping that I can live any attack. If he goes for an electric move, I live it. I didn't foresee the Fire Punch, so he's able to take down my Slitherwing, and I'm like, well, crap. Well, I see that it's Life Orb, so Mega Alakazam can come on in, and this is where I click Miracle Eye, because I know Muck is coming in, absolutely. Miracle Eye, the Poison Touch, or Trace the Poison Touch, Miracle Eye, the Alakazam, and he Shadow Sneaks and gets the poison with the Poison Touch. And that's huge, because all he needed was 2 ticks for his Mamoswine to kill with Ice Shard. So if I don't get poisoned there, I'm in a much, much better position. So I get poisoned, the Psyshock takes out the Muck. That's great, that prep worked out. And now I'm like, crap. So now I have to go into my Raging Bolt. He clicks Flame Charge, that's great. This is Assault Vest. I didn't know that at the time, but he tells me afterwards, or I find out during the match. And I'm like, crap. Okay, well, I'm leftovers. I'm just gonna hit this with a Dragon Pulse because I know that he has really strong switch into this. And I'm like, well, I can't do anything, and Megazam's kind of useless now, so I just switch into Megazam, and now I go into Tauros because I need something. And then he just Ice Shards for Chip. I'm like, great. I can live a Mach Punch from Pawmot now. But I was stupid and thought that he was Volt Absorb instead of Iron Fist. So I stay in on the Mach Punch. I'm like, crap, dude, I'm dumb. I thought that was a roll. It wasn't. He was Iron Fist, so it killed every time. He goes hard into Silvally because he knows he doesn't have a move to hit the Raging Bolt. And I'm like, great. So I get free chip on the Silvally, and it does 31%. So I need to do 2 more. I'm like, crap. And this is where Flo misplays. He crumbles a little bit because he goes for a move other than Explosion. He goes for multi-attack because he thinks I'm max physically defensive, and I'm not. I don't have any physical bulk. He should have exploded here 100% of the time. He realized this after, like soon after, he realized this. And I click Dragon Pulse. That's great. I have Thunderclap to Revenge Kill. Or not Revenge Kill, but kill afterwards. And with some leftovers, I'm back at a decent health to live an Ice Punch a little bit. And he should have exploded. He knows this. I'm not going to beat him up about it. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes, so it is what it is. He goes into Pawmot. He clicks Mach Punch because that's the only move that he has to hit. And Explosion would have put me in range of that. And then I KO Pawmot with a Dragon Pulse. So a little bit of luck going my way in that aspect. But Flo did play really well, and he had really good prep. He just kind of crumbled at the end a little bit. And I was thankful because I'm now 5-0, and I'm secured in playoffs with this win. And I'm humbled because I know I can lose. I know I can lose. It just hasn't happened yet. So we move on, being 5-0 in the season, and we're going to continue from there with the next week with Kylar. So I will see you guys in a second. All right, so now we're getting into week 6 versus Kylar. And I was already locked in the playoffs at this point, so I asked Robin for a little bit of help, but it wasn't like a supreme analysis that I usually get from him. So I just kind of looked at the team and was like, this is what I would like to bring. You have any thoughts? And he's like, yeah, that looks good. This was the first matchup I thought Oricorio was pretty good in, even though he had an Umbreon on his team. But the offensive pressure of Alakazam and Oricorio actually work really well together. So in this battle, it was just nasty plot sub Mega Alakazam with Psychic plus Focus Blast, because Focus Blast 2-hit KOs max HP, max special defense Umbreon. That's how strong Mega Alakazam is. It's absolutely wild. And I guess the fact that Focus Blast is really strong too. Then there was Calm Mind max physical defense Raging Bolt, Fizdef Torkoal with a little bit of speed in it to outspeed, I think it was something on his team, but I don't really remember what it was. There is mixed defense on Mandibuzz to take a couple hits from both physical and special side. Assault Vest Swampert to be a little bit of a check to Mega Pidgeot, and a little bit of a check to the Rotom Wash. And it had Mirror Coat because Carlos, one of my friends in the one of the Discords that I'm in, he is the same one that's that Robin, Flo, Vic, Dan, all those guys, Nathan too, Simon, Zeb, all these people, we're all in the same Discord, and he really loves Assault Vest Mirror Coat Swampert, so I promised I would bring it to one of the battles, and this is the one where I thought it worked. And then there's Focus Sash, Quiver Dance, Oricorio, because my thought was that in order for Oricorio to work, I'm going to lead off with it. I am going to Quiver Dance immediately, take a hit, and just spam Hurricanes. Even though it doesn't really do too much to Umbreon, if I can weaken that for Mega Alakazam, then I just straight up win. So let's go ahead and get into the battle. I lead off with Swampert because I feel like it's safe, because I think he's going to lead Rotom Wash. He immediately switches out into Umbreon, and I get a Scald off. Great. He burns it, which burns me, which kind of sucks, but the chip on Umbreon is kind of helpful if he's not running Heal Bell on it. So I immediately just go out in Torkoal, because I'm like, well, rocks are pretty free at this point, and he goes out into Pidgeot. Good play on him. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go right into Raging Bolt, because that's my dedicated check to it. Even though I am physically defensive, I can still take a hit, and I'm just going to go ahead and click Electric Move, Volt Switch. And I go right to Alakazam because I know I can outspeed it. I know I can do whatever I need to, and I just go straight up for the Psychic because I'm not afraid of Umbreon coming in, because I don't think he's going to risk it so early. So then he goes on to Excadrill, and I'm immediately thinking, this has got to be Choice Scarf, because there's no way he's bringing this in on Alakazam if he's not Choice Scarf, or at least Assault Vest. I didn't calc the Assault Vest damage, but I figured it wouldn't matter. He would live, or at least Focus Sash, one of the three. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go straight into my Mandibuzz, because I know I can take a hit from him. He goes for the Throw Chop, works out for me. He goes right into a Rotom Wash as I U-turn. I'm like, great, I'm in a great position. I'm going to go back into Swampert. I'm going to just chip this down a little bit because this has no reliable recovery. And then he tricks. I'm like, shit, dude. He tricks the choice specs onto my Carlos, and thankfully it was a special attacking variant, as you saw with the Scald. But now my Mirror Coat didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. I'm sorry, Carlos. I even named Swampert after Carlos. It's a female in this, though, so sorry, Carlos. So I'm like, well, now I have to switch out. I'm just going to go right into Raging Bolt because I don't really have other switch-ins. And he goes in Umbreon to probably Wish Pass onto Rotom or anything like that. But now his Rotom is Assault Vest, which is kind of tricky for my Megazam and my Raging Bolt, and my Oricorio, but that's okay. I go right into Torkoal because I'm thinking I'm just going to get rocks up at this point because rocks are pretty good against him. For any chip that I want, but he Toxics my Torkoal, which kind of sucks because it puts it on timer, but I'm not really too worried about it because all I know is I just need to chip things down for my Megazam to come in and sweep either Umbreon is the switch in for that, but I don't think it's going to matter too much whenever it comes to that because he's getting lower and lower, and Focus Blast will OHKO at some point if he gets too much chip on it. So I'm thinking, okay, he's just kind of wasting time. He's protecting, doing all these things that Umbreons do, just chipping my team down, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep clicking Earth Power, and if he goes into Rotom, that's fine. I have a switch into Raging Bolt every time, so I'm not really too worried. I'm just kind of clicking moves. That's I'm attacking what's in front of me because I don't need to predict at this point. He goes for Hydro Pump, good. And I think I just go for Volt Switch again because I don't think he's ever going to go out into Excadrill. And then I go into Mega Alakazam. I'm like, all right, now's my time. I can either Nasty Plot here because he's going to protect or wish or do something like that. And he goes straight into Excadrill on the Focus Blast because I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to click Focus Blast. If it kills, it kills. And it just gets rid of the Excadrill. So that's one less problem I need to worry about for my Raging Bolt. And my Oricorio and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. This thing's Assault Vest now. I don't want to stay in on this. There's no reason for me to. I'm going to go right into Raging Bolt because that's my switch in every time. He Hydro Pumps again. Cool. Raging Bolt's bulk has never ceased to amaze me. This is a very bulky Pokemon. It could almost always live a hit if you needed to, and just go straight from there because this thing is bulky. So I'm like, well, now Volt Switch are free. I'm slower than this thing, so I can just Volt Switch on out to whatever he wants to come in. He goes into Umbreon, and I'm like, okay, great. This is still free Mega Alakazam, and I can just Focus Blast again because he doesn't really have a switch in other than Rotom, and that's already getting chipped down with the rocks. I miss Focus Blast. A little annoying. That's okay. Now he can protect to get his Umbreon into max HP, but he goes right into Rotom Wash. Smart play, but I Nasty Plot, predicting either a protect or a double. And now this is just, you see a +2 Mega Alakazam staring you in the face. This is Assault Vest, but that doesn't really matter too much whenever you are gonna just straight up die to Psychic. So it's, man, it is just incredible the fact how strong Mega Alakazam is. He goes into Sneasler, and I'm going to anticipate like a fake out or like some sort of that. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna switch into Mana Buzz because this is my switch-in. And I know I can just live whatever it wants to go for. He close combats, has the White Herb to now get his Unburden boost. Now he's faster than everything, and I'm a little bit scared at this point, but I dual Wing Beat just in case he's Focus Sash, brings him down a little bit, and now he can just continue on. And I'm thinking, okay, Raging Bolt isn't too useful at this point anymore, so I can just go out of that, sack it, and then go into Oricorio. And I'm Sash. Remember, I am Focus Sash, so I know I can just click Ghost Move, Revelation Dance, and KO this right away. But he goes into Umbreon, which sucks a little bit because now I have to play a little bit of a game because Revelation Dance doesn't KO, and I miss Hurricane. It sucks again because this thing would have been dead and I wouldn't have had to worry about it, and then Megazam can come in and just finish the game off. But it's whatever. I'm like, okay, now he's 100% protecting, so I can just get a free Quiver Dance off. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just Quiver Dance, and now he has to face the +1 Oricorio, and now I'm clicking Hurricanes because I gotta hope. I get the confusion, didn't matter, he Toxics, that kind of sucks, but you know, it works out because I think he just protects here. Oh no, he doesn't. I think he goes for Wish, and I'm like, I have to hit a Hurricane, and I hit the Hurricane. Works out. So now Umbreon's gone, and I'm +1, +1, +1. The Arcanine comes out. He Extreme Speeds. I'm a Ghost type. I think he forgets that. That or he's just given up at this point. And Yukiko, the Oricorio, is going to sweep the rest of his team. So Oricorio's debut did really well, and it sweep the rest of Kylar's team. So now I progress to 6-0 in the season. I'm at the top of the leaderboards everywhere. I think at this point, me and Robin were the only undefeated people at this point in the season. Both 6-0, but I had differential on them. And I was at the top of everybody, not just my division, of everybody. So now I'm just trying to make a statement of, yeah, I'm here to stay. I'm here to hang. I'm here to stay. I can do this. And I'm excited because there's only one more battle before I potentially become 7-0, and I'm locked in the playoffs. So now that we know that, we can just continue on. So with that being said, I will see you in my match versus Norman. Alrighty, so week 7 against Norman. Norman has a Rain team versus my Sun team, so it's Rain versus Sun. And this was going to be a battle that I was fairly confident in if I was able to just keep Sun up to keep his weather, you know, tranquilized and not able to do much. So I figured that as long as I just was able to keep Sun up, then I was good to go. I think Mandibuzz, Klefki, and Torkoal all had Sun. Drought with the Torkoal and Sunny Day on the other two Pokemon. So I figured, okay, let's just go into this. he doesn't really have a dragon resist. That's good, because his dragon types or steel types are also part dragon, so that's our Chaladon and the Goodra, which still take a good bit of damage from Dragon Pulse on Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt in this matchup, really good. Electric move for the water types and dragon move for the dragons. There's really nothing much he could switch into on this, in my opinion, but it was still like the offensive pressure that Raging Bolt had in this matchup was really good. But for just the team composition overall, I had 4 attack, Mega Zam. I think there was Charge Beam, Psychic, Focus Blast for the steel types, and one other move. There's Assault Vest, Raging Bolt to take any water moves or hurricanes or anything like that from any of his Pelipper specifically, or just to live a random Draco Meteor from either of the 2 dragon types. There is physical defensive Torkoal with HP Electric, just in case the Pelipper wanted to switch in on it. I can just HP Electric right away. There's especially defensive Klefki with Sunny Day. There is physical defensive Mandibuzz with Rocky Helmet to stop any Kingdra shenanigans if he was physical. And then Muscle Band Slitherwing, because I wanted to switch up moves. Wild Charge plus Fighting is really good against him, so I figured that I can just go ahead with that, and First Impression was there for the Meowscarada as well. So let's go ahead and just get into the battle. I lead off with Torkoal because I want the sun up, and I knew that if he led Pelipper, my sun would go off. So I'm just like, oh great, and now I think he's gonna switch out, so I go for Rocks, and he doesn't switch out. I'm like, okay, cool. I could have got the HP Electric chip, but I figured Rocks were just more useful. So now he defogs them away, and I'm like, okay. I go for the HP Electric here, does a lot of chip damage. Great. Now this is hurt a little bit, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for Rocks again because there's no reason for me not to. He goes out in the Goodra, and I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go out in the Klefki because I don't really have anything for this, and if he goes for a Dragon move, then I can just eat it up. I go for Thunder Wave just to paralyze this, be a little bit of annoying, but he reveals the Flamethrower, and I'm like, okay, that that hurts a lot, especially in the sun. So now I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna get Sunny Day up, come in with the Slitherwing, and click Muscle Band Fighting move, and Goodra goes down, which is very good because that was a big specially defensive threat for my Mega Zam and my Raging Bolt. So now he brings in his Meowscarada. This can outspeed things. I'm like, oh great, I can just go into Mandibuzz because this is my switch in. He goes for the Play Rough, good on him. It was super effective on Slitherwing, so it wasn't much of a prediction, but it was safer than going for an ice move like Triple Axle or anything like that. So Play Rough did a lot to me on the Mandibuzz, and I'm like, okay, I can just roost off this damage, and he goes into Pelipper, and if I would have attacked that turn, Pelipper would have been done, which sucks because now he can get a free roost off. But I do click Sunny Day to get rid of this rain in case that he wanted to do anything with that, and I just U-turn and I go into my Raging Bolt. So now I can just start spamming Dragon move. I want to get Dragon moves on because I know that I can just hit them. And with my boosted special attack, I'm going to do over half to this Lantern, and I'm like, great, I can just hit it again, and Lantern is now gone. So that's one less Pokemon I need to deal with. He goes into Meowscarada, assuming for the Play Rough, and I'm like, well, my Mandibuzz is still here. I get a free switch off still, and this is just getting chipped by the Rocky Helmet, which was a little bit of the game plan there. I'm like, great, so now I can just roost off as he brings in Pelipper again. Slightly annoying, but that's okay. And I know if he goes for a water move, I can just click Sunny Day again, so I'm not really worried about it. So I click Sunny Day just to get rid of it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I can go right into Slitherwing, boosted attack. He goes for Electro Shot. He has the Power Herb, even though he has Rain, which I thought was a smart bring, because if I ever had Sun Up and he still clicked it, he was able to get it off anyway. So that does a lot of damage, and I'm like, that hurts. And he's faster than me. He was able to be faster than me because I think I did it to where it was Modest, our Chaladon, that I was faster than, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. I'm like, great. So now I can go right into Alakazam, just click Focus Blast because I need to get rid of this thing, and it OHKOs it. The crit, I don't think mattered because special defense on our Chaladon isn't that good as it is. So the Focus Blast hits, great, OHKOs that thing, and now I can just go straight for the Shockwave into the Meowscarada because I was like, I didn't want to run Charge Beam because I didn't want to miss. I just didn't want to miss against Pelipper, and Pelipper died no matter what. And he goes into Meowscarada to eat the hit, so good on him for that. I'm like, great, I can still go into Mandibuzz because this is a free switch in still. And he gets more chip. He goes into Kingdra. Now this is the scary Pokemon because he substitutes, and I'm like, oh no. But I click Sunny Day just to get rid of the Swift Swim and to get rid of the water boost from his attacks. So I'm like, great. He Dragon Dances up, and I'm like, oh no, this is a problem. But thankfully, I have Foul Play on Mandibuzz. I have Roost Sunny Day, U-turn Foul Play, because I didn't want to mess with any D-Dance on the Kingdra. So I'm just going to keep clicking it because I don't want to deal with it. At no point am I going to risk this. So I keep doing it, and I click Sunny Day again because I figured, well, Pelipper can't really do anything to me anyway. And I think at this point I click U-turn because I figured, oh no, I just keep clicking Foul Play. Okay, cool. And he goes right into Pelipper to set up the rain again, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to U-turn now, and I can go right into Raging Bolt. And I believe I can Volt Switch for free here, but I just Thunderbolt because I figured, what's the point? Now he goes into Kingdra, and I'm not even worried about it. I'm going into Torkoal because I know he doesn't have any more Sunset or Rain Setters, so Sun's going to stay up for the rest of the match. He clicks Outrage, that's good. I can live another one potentially if I get the roll in my favor. I don't, that's okay. But now Alakazam is faster than both of his last two Pokemon, and I can just go ahead and finish off the match with Dazzling Gleam both times and go from there. So, this was kind of dumb, maybe a little bit smart on my end. Just in case this was Scarf, I didn't want to risk anything. I didn't see any item on this, I think. So I was like, just in case, I'm going to let Mandibuzz just take this thing out because there's no reason for me not to. And he just goes from there because I think it might have been Scarf the way he was playing it, and it was able to do that. I don't think it KO'd Alakazam anyway, but I was still able to win. I was playing safe, and your boy, your Lucky Luxrays, are 7-0 to finish off the NCPL regular season. It was my first undefeated season, and I was very proud of the way I played, the way I drafted the entire regular season. It was just really good overall. Thank you again to Robin. I cannot thank him enough for the regular season and to come in the playoffs because he helped me a lot. But I 7-0. I came back and I showed that I'm still, up there and I'm still a good player. So with that being said, we're going to look forward to the first round of playoffs versus Christian. And Christian is somebody I haven't battled before, but he was able to beat Jonas during the regular season. He was the only one that handed him his loss during the regular season. So I was excited to battle him because I knew he was pretty good. I think there was a little bit of a hacks involved with it, but hey, that comes with Pokemon. So I was excited to battle him, and his team was pretty good. So you guys will see that in the next video. But until then, you guys all have a very good day, and I will see you in the next one.